noon hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. No holiday here, folks. No, we hope you're enjoying your day off. We hope you have the day off. But Hans and I were slaving over these hot sports takes, delivering them to you right and left. Let's go and let's do this.
My kids are like, you got to work today? Because they're all headed up to Mount Pleasant. They're going to go play up in Sanpete County. And I was like, yeah, let's use that loosely.
Yes.
Children, quiet. Daddy's working on football film.
Dad's working right now. You're watching a game. It's work.
Easy. It's work, kids. Go on, go play.
Never a dull moment.
But I had a lot of fun this morning with some Utah film. We'll jump right into this Utah game. By the way, I was looking at this. Utah is the saving grace of the Big 12 in the
how about that?
Opening week. Now, TCU, North Carolina tonight. So TCU could possibly get a second P4 win. But outside of that, Utah is the only one that did any heavy lifting.
We talked about that a little bit on Friday. What are we going to be talking about with your Big 12 headlines? And it wasn't good.
No, it's not good. It's irritating. TCU has to get this win tonight against North Carolina.
And all eyes are going to be on it. It feels a little bit like, remember when Jim Harbaugh took over Michigan and his first game was here at Rice Eccles against Utah?
Oh, yeah.
And the eyes of college football were on it because of Jim Harbaugh. And Utah went out and smacked him around pretty good. I hope TCU does the same because all eyes are going to be on that with Bill Belichick as the head coach in North Carolina. I mean, this thing's going to get a lot of attention, and you hope that TCU can rise up and be just like, nope.
Take care of it.
This isn't. You don't have Tom Brady on that sideline. This isn't New England. You're playing college football now, so this is how we do things here.
And you know, this North Carolina team has been traditionally a 6-6 team. That's just what they are. It's what they do. They're typically right around 500. They're typically a losing record in the ACC, and it's like, just don't slip up. At least 2 Power 4 victories in week 1. It's absolutely necessary for this conference, but the big news and the big topic, the big national storyline coming out of the Big 12 nationally. You look at any publication, like everything that I look at every single Monday, where I go back and I'm like, okay, I hit here. Everybody's talking about Utah.
Yes.
You even get major political figures that are tweeting out about Utah and their overall presence. And this Devin Dampier that is a dark horse Heisman Trophy hopeful. And, you start that noise and you start that momentum. Now, it's a lot of weight to carry.
Yes.
And as we've mentioned, Texas Tech is your first Big 12 opponent. You've got Arizona State a week later, and then you got BYU that follows that. So it's going to be really tough sailing for Utah, but Utah kind of carrying the flag right now for that conference.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of good moments for the Big 12 over the weekend, so it will be good if Utah is carrying that banner right now, and for good reason, because, they looked flat out dominant in that game. So we got a lot to get to today. It is a Monday. Bronco Mendenhall, who originally was supposed to be on Tuesday, he's now going to join us every Monday at about 12:35. So
that's good time.
Yeah. So on Monday, we get a chance to talk to Bronco.
It'll just depend on if Lloyd wants to have him on or not.
Yeah, exactly.
If Lloyd wants to take the call or make it a little fuzzy, or if he
just drop it,
or he wants to just drop
it. Coach Mendenhall wants to be on. You just tell me when and where.
Are you sure? Because we wanted Coach Mendenhall on, and then I do think it's his phone. Is he calling you, Lloyd?
No, you're going to do it the same way you did it last week.
All right.
By the way, we need to talk about the YouTube channel because our cameras are all jacked up. You look like you're Andre the Giant, and I look like I'm Pee Wee Herman.
What has happened here?
Look at Hans. You got extreme, like the old extreme close up.
Well, that's weird. It's the first time Lloyd has fat shamed me. Like right out in the open.
Yeah.
There's some fatism.
I know, right?
Lloyd just said in my ear. Was that in my ear?
He's like, I didn't
weird.
know the camera put on 50 pounds.
That's weird. Have to adjust for your large body.
Oh, man, let's get to it. Starting lineup right now, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go.
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Can UCLA finally get off the field on a third down? 3 of 3 first drive, 4 of 4 overall for Utah. It's Snowden out the other way, weaving out of a tackle. He's got the first down. He jukes his way for a touchdown. Two-way sensation. Smith Snowden has arrived for Utah with a touchdown. Utah doing this is a good run defense the last couple of years. Open middle, touchdown, Dampier. Flies it in there to Lander Barton. All the defensive guys involved. Snowden and Barton both with touchdowns. First attempt of his college career. Curtis lets it fly. And
Gotta get the kicker in there.
as advertised. No problem for the true freshman kicker. Pure from 54. 4th and goal from the 2. Behind his tight ends, Dampier is in. Paying off the 4th down decision. 3-score lead for the Utes.
Utah gets it done, folks. Not only they beat UCLA, they take them behind the woodshed hands and just let them have it. BYU gets a win. Utah State gets a win. We're going to spend some time talking about that coming up here momentarily. But Utah was the showcase of the day for the state of Utah. And boy, did they put on a show in Pasadena.
They did, and I've been sending out a couple of tweets, and again, can't do much with film anymore. Some of the immediate Big 12 stuff, it's privately owned, and it's just what it is.
The no fun police got a hold of the Big 12.
It's just how it goes. And Scotty, you understand that, and
Oh, yeah.
hopefully listeners understand it. But that doesn't mean that I don't get to just sit there and pore over it. And I did that with this Utah-UCLA game. And I'm overwhelmed with stuff. It's like, where do you start with this Utah team? So I want to get to the base of everything. And when I came out of the film review, this was very evident. In fact, I got through the first half and I thought, okay, good. The biggest question that I've been asking since the Jason Beck hire is, how does Jason Beck fit with Jim Harding? How does Jason Beck and Jim Harding fit with Freddie Whittingham? That's really an important three. Marky Atawaya he's coming in, it's not like he's an offensive coordinating type. He is. I mean, he's got an offensive coordinating mind, but he's not coming in with all of these hardened opinions. And he's new to the group. Freddie and Jim Harding have both been there a long time, and they've got tight ties. And Jason Beck had to kind of adopt parts of their offense. And by the half, it was very clear that they have worked on the same page with each other, in collaboration, and not against each other. It was very clear. So how is that clear? Well, you've got a young guy in J.J. Buchanan, who is just a freshman tight end out of Henderson, Nevada, at 6'4", 210 pounds, who is incorporated in so many different facets of this offense, unlike anything that we saw with a tight end at New Mexico.
Yeah.
You've got Dallin Bentley, who is your returning tight end, big hype hopeful, Dallin Bentley. There's like, you can't ignore Dallin. He had 5 receptions. In just Jason Beck's first game with the University of Utah, he's targeted 3 different tight ends, which is 2 more tight ends than he ever targeted at New Mexico. Okay,
This is true.
Okay, so understand, he's working with Freddie Whittingham. Okay, now let's go to Jim Harding. In short down yardage, you had 7 offensive linemen on the field, including Keith Olson lined up at fullback in a shotgun look, offset shotgun look, where you're using a halfback motion, Keith Olsen out of the backfield as a 6'6", 310-pound lineman. You're using offensive line sets in short yardage that shows full power. So when I watch film, I'm like, okay, if I'm an offensive lineman in this system, how do I feel? Because if I'm taking pass sets, or if I'm taking draw sets, or if I'm taking screen sets, I'm taking punches. That's what I'm taking. If I'm getting power calls, inside zone reads, if I'm getting, certain dive and blast looks, I'm happy because then I can throw the punch. Jason Beck's offense was giving Jim Harding's offensive line opportunities to throw punches. And it's still, I could tell that the playbook,
no,
it's less than a quarter.
Yeah.
It was less than a quarter of the playbook. But I see Freddie Whittingham shining, Jim Harding shining, which makes Jason Beck shine even brighter. So I that's kind of the point I wanted to start with, Scotty.
And I agree with you in terms of the playbook. You could tell it was still scaled back, but boy, the motions, the creativity, the different sets. And Kyle put everybody on notice. Like, Kyle's like, hey, Lander Barton's running with the offense, Smith Snowden. And part of it's like, okay, did Kyle really want to tell everybody this? Well, yeah, he called his shot. And Smith Snowden was a big part of that game plan. Lander Barton with a touchdown reception. These guys went out there, and not only did they played well and gave Utah a spark. I mean, the move that Smith Snowden made to get into the end zone, fantastic. But let's not confuse what the power and strength of this team is, and that is a massive offensive line that can just road grade you. And like you mentioned, when you throw 7 of those guys out on the field in short yardage, good night.
Yeah.
Good night. It's
Monsters.
over. It's over.
I have I'm sure I've got people out there that are wondering who's the third tight end. It's Lander Barton. Lander Barton was used in tight end formations. Now, you could actually say, well, Smith Snowden was used in tight end formations as well. And you'd be right. He was used in just a disconnected slot in a motion that maybe you could be like, well, it's a tight end formation. But he's more of a receiver. He's a slot receiver and more of a fly sweep look. All right. So this game started out as good as it could have possibly started out. It starts out, first play offensively is a dump down to Smith Snowden for 12 yards and a first down. Great. Just kind of open it up, get it on the outsides. Fantastic. The second play, it was a strength. It was a power run. It was a left side blast to Wayshawn Parker for 14 yards. It's such a beautiful mix. It's like, oh, we're going to get you some speed here on the outside with Smith Snowden, and then here's a power punch right up the middle. What are you going to do about it, UCLA? UCLA came in an odd front. They had 3 down linemen, and they were using a 4 linebacker set. The fourth linebacker wasn't even walked up to the line. So he was trying to read run and then react to the line of scrimmage. In the meantime, 3 down linemen were getting their feet fed to them by Utah's offensive line. All right? Third or fourth play, you hit a 7-yard hitch to Dallin Bentley. 7-yard hitch. So now you're widespread to Smith Snowden, you're power to Wayshawn, and you're in the seam on a hitch to a tight end in Dallin Bentley. It's like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, what are we doing here, guys? So then you get into a 3rd and 4. You go back to Smith Snowden. Out of a shotgun look, Smith Snowden is just an offset running back formation to Devin Dampierre. And they drive him straight to the flats, and it's an easy drop off to Smith Snowden, and it's an easy first down. It was 8 yards or so.
Yeah.
So then you get yourself all the way into the red zone, and that's when you run in Keith Olsen. And you put Keith Olsen at fullback, and now you're using H-back motions to get an extra blocker with Keith, and you go full power. And he just destroys people, and they go get the first on I think it was a 2nd or 3rd and short. And then you finish with Wayshawn Parker in the end zone, and that was your opening look of the Jason Beck, Devin Dampierre era at Utah.
And by the way, if you're Wayshawn Parker on that touchdown run, you're looking around like, I can get used to this.
Yeah.
I can get used to this.
Yeah, this is real nice.
This is a good way to live right now with that offensive line.
It's real nice. So why is it the best overall start that you could have? So then your defense rolls out for their first possession. And you've got a whole bunch of new talent. Who knew number 37, Trey Reynolds? Anybody know that name?
No. And
Well,
usually coaches kind of give us a heads up on people to watch. I don't remember hearing Trey Reynolds' name.
No. Did you hear much about Jonah Laie? Number 91, the defensive tackle?
Nope.
It's like I'm watching the game film and I'm like, geez, we talked a lot about a lot of guys, but there's some dudes out here laying hits that I'm not overly familiar with. Well, you're going to get to know Trey Reynolds because he's good.
Oh, yeah.
He's very usable. You're going to get to know Jonah, number 91, the D tackle, because he's good. He's very usable. So what ends up happening? Utah defense starts the 2025 season with a 4th down stop. It was UCLA went into a shotgun on a 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. They'd already converted 1 4th down. They go into a shotgun look on 4th down and 1 or 2. Not much pressure, but shut down route and an incompletion and a turnover on downs. And then Utah goes on another beautiful drive in the first quarter that finishes with that Smith-Snowden touchdown. Just to get a little bit further into Jason Beck's offense, let's talk about that Smith-Snowden touchdown. Okay, so what was my formation and what was my goal on that Smith-Snowden touchdown? I've got Dallin Bentley, who's attached on the left side of the offensive formation. He's stacked at an H-back attachment. You've got Nakari Rogers, who was offset to Devin Dampierre. You've got Smith-Snowden, who was lined up in a slot set, about a 10-yard disconnection from the offensive tackle. And he goes in a pre-snap motion. So as Smith goes in a pre-snap motion towards the quarterback, you take the snap, you pull Mokofisi from the right guard position. He pulls to the left side. So now this is who you've got blocking. You've got Malachi Mokofisi, Caleb Lomu. You've got Tagiai. You got Dallin Bentley, Nakari Rogers as a lead blocker. And you've got the receiver on the outside that's running off a corner. Smith-Snowden comes. And what that does, Scotty, is that forces the safety who's deep to come flying up because he's got to be that extra defender. Otherwise, you're outmatched with blockers to defenders.
Yeah.
That safety comes flying up. Well, you got is Smith-Snowden one-on-one with a safety.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. And you saw what happened.
Yep.
Safety goes on his face, and Smith-Snowden walks in. That's it, man. And by the way, that's a very basic formation. That isn't an extravagant formation, but what happens is, here's my threats. Dallin Bentley, major threat, wherever he's going. Nakari Rogers, major threat, wherever he's going. Smith-Snowden, major threat, wherever he's going. And who's the biggest one? Devin Dampierre. So what the hell do I do? I'm looking at it as a defender, and I'm like, the hell do I do? Well, I guess I try to man with Dallin Bentley. Well, I can man with Dallin Bentley. It's easy pitch and catch.
Yeah, who are you going to man him with?
You can't.
Yeah.
UCLA doesn't have a nickel that can man with him.
No.
So I can't. And plus, I'm in short yardage situations, so I'm not like thinking, oh, geez, this is, I've got to go full press man on Dallin Bentley here. But I've got to keep an extra defender. So when Dallin starts into a blocking formation, I'm still thinking, geez, he's going to chip off. There's going to be a rollout, and he's going to sit. So it's like weapons all over the place, great usage, and then you're looking at Smith-Snowden. Now everybody's going to get the film on Smith, and they're going to know, geez, 6 catches, okay, 3 rushes, okay. I probably saw him on the field for 25-ish offensive snaps, 25-ish. And out of the 25 offensive snaps, I probably saw, we know he got 9 touches offensively, and maybe another target or 2.
Don't even forget about his punt and his kickoff returns too.
Yeah, his kickoff returns. So the point I'm trying to make, Scotty, is what the hell do you do?
That's you want to die by paper cuts or just a good old gash?
Yeah. As the defensive coordinator, what do you even do?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. So it's fun. It's fun for me because I love offensive football that has multiple talented targets or multiple talented weapons. And that's what you've built out with this offense, multiple talented weapons. And you didn't really even get to see what guys like Ryan Davis can really do.
Yeah, I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg here.
Or Tobias Merriweather.
Nope.
What these guys can really do, because I think that they're capable of a lot. But now everybody's got to go back and look at and be like, okay, so I guess we got to worry about this number 2 guy. I thought it was, just Kyle Whittingham bloviating during camp, like, "Whoa, you got to watch these defenders." 3 defenders caught balls.
Yeah.
You had Smith Snowden and Lander Barton. One guy that nobody really knew a lot about was Jackson Beanie, another safety.
Yeah, nobody brought his name up.
Anybody?
No. I didn't hear anybody bring his name up.
But Jason Beck saw him and was like, "Hey, I could." Wait, did somebody bring it?
It's like, who's this guy on the team?
Wait, did somebody bring his name up? Did you?
I think Lloyd did.
Who, on the podcast?
Yeah, no, I thought before you said Jackson Beanie to keep an eye on him.
No, I did not.
Oh, I was going to give you credit for that.
No, I didn't.
Never mind then.
No, I didn't.
If anybody brought him up, I'll give him credit, because I didn't hear.
I would like to take credit for that, but I didn't. No.
Okay, I thought you did.
No, when I saw him out
reason.
there and he was receiving, he's on defense. I was like, no.
I thought I remember somebody saying, "Watch out for this guy too." But maybe I'm just, all my days are blending together. Maybe we just talked about it yesterday.
There's a lot of fall camp.
Maybe yesterday on the podcast, which, by the way, you can still download, and we ask that you do it. It is a podcast that Hans, Lloyd, myself, we host every Sunday morning, immediately after the games, and we will provide you our immediate reaction to what we saw. So Hans at the BYU game, me at the Utah State game, Lloyd breaking down Utah, and we just give you our analysis. We're tired. We're grumpy.
And you guys will yell at me about my equipment. So,
and your equipment stinks.
No, we're going to get that fixed.
We will. We'll get it fixed.
Yeah, we're going to get that fixed
next week.
From what I understand, we've got an untapped budget for this podcast. So.
Yes. Spare no expense. Let's go. All right, 12:25, Hans and Scotty. Bronco Mendenhall is going to join us coming up in about 10 minutes from right now. Head coach at Utah State as the Aggies get the big W against UTEP and looked really good doing it. Bryson Barnes, fantastic debut as a starting quarterback at Utah State. And then Miles Davis playing really well. Then we're going to get to the Cougars. They did everything we expected and more. Just dominated Portland State. That's not just a FCS team. BYU play, that's a really bad FCS team. We'll get some breakdown from Hans on that coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
It's the home opener for the Utes as they battle Cal Poly in Rice-Eccles Stadium. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, coming up here in just a couple minutes, you're going to hear from Bronco Mendenhall, head coach at Utah State. I'm not going to lie, it was a little weird seeing him on that Utah State sideline, rocking the Utah State gear. But he has brought a level of accountability and discipline to that Utah State team that has been sorely lacking over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. They had 11 penalties, but only 67. They were just stupid, like false start, procedural, stuff that you would expect the first game of the year. Mm-hmm. No 15-yarders, no, there was a really bad call for a roughing the passer call where they said he hit high and he hit him in the shoulder pads. So that stuff's going to happen, but there wasn't the extra fighting after a whistle or anything like that we've seen for so many years at Utah State. So that was good to see. A certain level of discipline back with Utah State. And defensively, they settled in and really got themselves in a good place. And so I think there's a sign of a lot of optimism for Utah State. Now, the offense they came out like gangbusters. And then as the second half wore on, they came back down to earth a little bit. But they made the plays when they needed to. I thought Bryson Barnes looked fantastic. for his first official starting a season as a starting quarterback. And but Miles Davis may have been the steal of the portal. Led the team in receiving yards and rushing yards. So I thought it was just fantastic to go see him and do his thing. And I'll let Bronco told us this in the postgame, but kind of his story of where he was at when he came to Logan and where he's at now. And let's just say it's a pretty impressive transformation.
Only 4 carries by the New Mexico transfer, Javen Jacobs.
Yeah, that was a little bit surprising. I mean, he was on the field a lot, and they were playing 2, sometimes 3 running backs out on the field at the same time and moving guys and motioning them into slots and setting them all over the place to try to confuse UTEP, which I think worked. So I think that it was really a fun game plan to watch. And I imagine those touches are going to go up considerably.
Tell me about the Brock Lane touchdown, because Brock is one guy that I've got circled as a big-time player this year.
52-yard touchdown pass. They brought a 3-man rush. Bryson had all day to throw, waited, stepped up in the pocket, and it looked like he was about to take off and run, and then he saw Brock Lane 20 yards behind everybody else. And it was one of those where he's so wide open he could have fair caught it. But Bryson had to throw it on the run. It was not an easy throw to make. And so he heaved it up there, and Brock Lane got underneath it. And 1 catch, 52 yards, and a touchdown. You'll take that.
When you go through the 6 or 7 sacks that were given up,
yeah,
how many of those accounted for just one-on-one rushes, or not just one-on-one, but just you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like a DN, beats the tackle kind of thing.
And Bronson Barron is still inside a 3 count. Like Bronson didn't hold
or Bryson
or sorry,
yeah.
Where did I go? Bronson Barron, is that Southern Utah?
Yeah, double B's. Yeah, old Weber State quarterback.
Did I just pull up because he's at Southern Utah?
Yeah, he is.
In fact, they had a good win against Idaho State this weekend.
They did.
And Barron was a beast. But Bryson Barnes doesn't take the snap, hold it, and run around in the backfield.
There was a little bit of that. And there were a couple sacks late where Utah State's trying to run the clock out, and they tried a one route concept, and the guy was covered, so he just ate it. So I would say that probably accounted for maybe 2. And then I think sometimes just getting beat was probably 2 or 3, and then holding on to the ball too long, maybe another couple.
Was there, outside of the 6 sacks that are registered, were there a lot of pressures?
Yes, there was pressure.
There were pressures?
Yeah. That's going to be an issue they're going to have to clean up.
Well, they'll have to work hard on that and figure that out. I'm going to go back and look at the film. I just want to see what's happening here.
Yeah.
And are we on one-on-ones? Are guys getting beat with stunts? Are guys getting beat with defensive schemes and formations that are confusing? Because that's where we're at defensively nowadays. I'm going to tell you right now, Scotty, I would hate to play offensive line in modern-day college football. There's just so much movement defensively with these odd fronts and the creepers that they run. It's really hard.
Joining us now is the head coach of Utah State, coming off a win over UTEP 28-16. Bronco Mendenhall, kind enough to join us. Coach, how are you?
Hey, Coach.
Hey, how you doing?
Very good.
Doing well. Now that you've had a couple days to decompress and watch the film and break it down, anything else jump out at you or surprise you, or something that maybe you didn't notice in postgame that you've noticed that you're particularly proud of in how your team performed?
Sometimes as the head coach, the game looks way different on film than it did in person. Other times it looks similar. This one was similar. I thought our team was well prepared, considering all the moving pieces and bringing it together for week 1. I thought consistency. I thought the complementary nature of football that we played from beginning to end. Relatively clean play. I thought our special teams performed at a really high level, not only kicking but covering, where some of the miscues kind of came out. I didn't address special teams penalties, so that was something. I think 5 maybe in the second half, special teams specifically, operationally mostly, and so I missed that during the game. That of the penalties, there was a significant number that kind of came in that phase, and then I just had more clarity on some of the protection issues we had quarterback wise or sack wise, excuse me. But the rest I saw, man, pretty cleanly, and I just thought it was a really strong start for our program. and for everyone in it. So I was encouraged.
Really strong and exciting, and we can get to the pressured things later. I want to talk about Bryson Barnes. Obviously he gives you what you needed on the field in terms of passing yards and rushing yards. Did you get everything else you needed from Bryson Barnes with leadership, control, and poise?
Yeah, so I think it started with that. The leadership, control, and poise is absolutely the strength and the experience he has, his age, and just having played college football and having played it on a big stage and big stages. So I think that certainly helped. Now, as the primary starter and within a new system, there's, in relation to your question, did we get everything that we needed? I'm not sure that's possible from anyone. So there's ways to improve, but the majority, I would say, he did really, really well. Now there's some things timing-wise just on when the ball needs to be delivered, trusting his first read. But, man, keeping drives alive, moving the pocket, moving the football, improvising, but also executing within. Super strong start, just all things considered.
I love the human element of what these guys go through and their progression, not only as players, but as human beings as well. And I know that's something that you value as well. And I was trying to tell Hans a little bit, and then I thought, well, I'm not going to tell him. I'm going to let Bronco tell him where Miles Davis was, as you told us during the postgame, where he was and where he is now in his progression and the credit he should take for, or he should get for what he's been able to do.
Yeah, Miles, I remember visiting with he and his father in my office about the opportunity that would be at Utah State for him. And I've shared this a couple times, but I think most of us as human beings, it's just amazing to be both needed and wanted. And they're not the same thing. You could be needed in a program, but maybe something either by personality or something else where you're not really wanted or not really loved and liked. And you could be, loved and liked, but maybe not needed, where the position or whatever you're needed to do is just, you don't have that big a chance to make a difference. I presented to him that there was both here. And then Miles showed up to work out, and our program's demanding. And we love challenge, and we love rites of passage, and we love becoming and doing new things. And Miles struggled to finish the workouts, and if he did, he was at the very back. And there was a look of kind of despair on his face of like, what have I signed up for? And by the time spring practice was over, there was a different resolve. And as he trained throughout the summer and moved colors in our system, talk about deliberate and fiercely and ferociously motivated, and the use of his journal and what we use in our program from a mental performance side, and the conditioning and the body composition changes to where he's now leading the runs. And it just is, he saw what he needed to do, acknowledged where he was, took the feedback that we gave him, wasn't offended by it, and just went to work. And it was just so much fun to watch him have success as the primary ball carrier, the primary all-purpose yards player. Because I really like to, when I visit with players, I want the choice they're making to work out for them as much as for us. And it's just better for everyone when, the right player at the right position chooses the right program to where they can really be fulfilled. And it's gratifying just to see the start that he had.
Speaking of the right player and the rite of passage and everything that embodies what I would consider a Bronco Mendenhall player, Bronson Olival has gone through so much in Logan and has just stayed the course with Utah State. Such a loyal, committed individual. Talk about Bronson Olival's game, what you saw from him, and just your overall impressions of that kid.
Oh, the best is yet to come. And visiting with him in my office, and when you hear him speak, there's maturity and there's wisdom at a pretty young age. Kind of an old soul in a young body, but his folks they prepared him so well for life and his values. And his parents have been leaders in their faith, and it certainly is reflected on him. His teammates have elected him a leadership council member and a team captain. And there's just a quiet presence and a commitment that just drives, and consistency that drives who he is. And man, those kind of individuals are exactly what I want Utah State football to be. And I want to attract and bring as many of those type of young people, right, that their mindset is exceptional, their maturity is great, but also they're good players, and he fits all of that.
Had a chance to chat with Avenger after the game as well as Miles Davis, and what really jumped out to me is they're both good human beings and good souls,
Yeah.
and they both kind of have that old soul feel to them. Is that something that you're able to identify in recruiting, and because it seems like a lot of these players we talk to have that same kind of vibe?
It's who I like to train and to be surrounded by. And while they don't have to be finished and polished, they do have to have a sense of maturity, that they're willing to work, they're willing to help other people, they're willing to be active in the community, they're willing to be great examples to those around them, they're willing to be representatives of this community and trusted as such. And I just my whole staff, as you know, is full of my former players as coaches. The kind of kids that you're talking about in Miles and Noah, and you could add many more, that's my next staff, right? So there is the heir apparent of how the succession plan works here. They're demonstrating every day that they are the exact kind of person that I'd want the next generation to be led by. And that really, I think, has had a lot to do with maybe the consistency of success of the programs that I've led, is just by the leadership.
All right, Bronco, let's jump into some of the pressures and sack situation as you go back and look at the film. How fixable are those things?
Man, they came in about every category, so absolutely all fixable. There's and you'll, I think you and our listeners will recognize. So there's decision making at quarterback. That's one, and there's no need to take probably 3 of the sacks where the ball could have been delivered or thrown away or et cetera. So there's those. Then there's communication issues, and that can happen between the offensive front alone, the offensive front / tight end, and the offensive front / running back. So that's kind of bucket number 2 is the communication, totally fixable. And those are just identification things that sometimes the identification was right, the communication didn't follow, or vice versa. And so those are totally fixable. And then maybe the last bucket for right now, and to simplify it, is just on the technical. And that means, right, the appropriate technique of hand placement, kick step, and doing the things that are necessary within the technical part of it. And there was some of that as well. And sometimes, right, that's correctable once it's identified. Sometimes that takes a little bit longer, but it also is based on matchups. So, yeah, I'm really encouraged and watched it on the field and really wasn't alarmed, but just knew that wasn't as tight as it needed to be from an execution standpoint.
When you looked at the film on your defense, particularly the back end, I was impressed with your corners and your safeties. When you went back and looked on the film, would you agree with that assessment?
Consistent. We aligned, and so we knew that UTEP, right, was a spread team, lots of empty, fast tempo, spraying the ball, delivering it quickly, getting the ball to their athletes in space, and with kind of a dynamic young head coach that's looking to make a name for himself through scoring and the type of play. And so we chose, right, a style of play that really put our athletes in space as well and gave us the best leverage possible. And so I think they executed it. We knew, right, their chance, if they had a chance to score, was through big plays. And there's only 3 on the day. Very few yards, very few dynamic plays for UTEP. And we were just consistent, and then added enough pressure to close out the game, that were causing incompletion, sacks, and when our offense was struggling a little bit, that we could play complementary football.
Coach, Scotty and I's hearts are both in Cache County. Like we both have roots there, both love that place, and, we think highly of the people there. And we've also felt like it's a hotbed for big emotion, big crowds, crazy fans. Kind of your first take of your home crowd and your hope as they continue to embrace a winning program. One thing that I've really tried to do through social media, through radio, is let people know, hey, the work is going in on the football side, like hard work. And now it's time to kind of react and show the respect to that. But your thoughts on that crowd?
I was just so grateful and appreciative and thankful. Our student section, the herd, is unlike anything that I've experienced. Now I've experienced it as a visiting coach, and I still remember. And man, that's tough.
Oh, it's tough.
But to be on the home side is just really, you feel supported. But there's a sense of community here, and And there's a sense of, I think, true connection and hope that people really want our program to be not only exceptional, but I sense as much how we do it is important. So, yeah, we want to win, and no one wants to more than me, but like how, meaning, you know, with what kind of young people and with the values that kind of reflect the value of the Valley and our state. It just, I think all that matters. And so I thought it was a really strong start. I felt, and my team felt super supported, and I sense an alignment coming, and I know my job, right? And that's, the wins have to happen, but how we win and with whom, to me at this stage at Utah State football, is every bit as important. And I want all of that. And I want that for the community. And I think that's what they want as well. And so as the trajectory keeps going, as the consistency manifests, I just see it coming together beautifully.
I know it's very early in the week. You've got Texas A&M coming up on Saturday, big venue, road trip into the heart of college football in the SEC there. What kind of mindset do you have to have with your team as they go in as probably heavy underdogs, but to have a mindset of wanting to compete and win that game?
Well, that's why we're going. I mean, they can sightsee later, and you know, we're going to win the football game. Again, it's not. There's nothing that's too big about this stage. One of the values of being an experienced head coach is just that. I've seen the different patches. I've seen the different uniforms. I've seen the different conferences. I've seen the different number of seats. Ultimately, you play football, and focusing on any other thing besides that is just in the way. And I hope they're excited. I mean, I'm talking about our team. I know they are, but we're actually going to compete. We're going to win. We're going to play. We're going for that. And this just happens to be a cool setting we get to do it in. And so, yeah, I'm just way more process-oriented after acknowledging quickly the history and tradition and how much fun it will be to play well. Then, yeah, we just go to the process.
Well, congratulations on a great outing. Just a beautiful opening game.
Absolutely.
Big win, and a lot of great play. A lot of things to be excited about in Cache County. So congratulations, Bronco.
Appreciate you both. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.
You got it. Bye. There he is, Bronco Mendenhall, head coach at Utah State, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Texas A&M, it was not a blow. I mean, they beat it by 20, UTSA.
Yeah.
But UTSA put up 24.
24 is like 45, 24, something like that. Yeah.
So I just don't put anything past Bronco.
No, I don't either. And that mindset is his, you know, we always talk about how players take on the mindset of their coach and the personality of their coach. This is a very blue collar, punch you in the mouth, disciplined, accountability, like everything Bronco preaches, he's got out of this team. And those that weren't on that same page aren't on the team anymore, whether it's their own accord or Bronco's suggestion. And I think that you're seeing it play out as we saw it happen in BYU. We saw it happen in Virginia. We saw it just the early stages of it in New Mexico. Wherever Bronco goes, this follows. And I think this team has really embraced it.
I was watching another documentary over the weekend. This Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, did I text that to you? Because I knew you were going to be all over that one.
Yeah, I'm all over it because you were
living through it.
Yeah, I was living through it, and in the documentary they bring in this Lieutenant General Russell Henry, and Russell comes in. Things were a mess, guys. 5-6 days. People not being fed, not being able to get out of the Superdome, not being able to get out of the area. It was horrifying, like the depths. And the misinformation that was being spread out from the danger that was there, people wouldn't even go in to help because they were afraid they were going to get shot. So they bring in this Lieutenant General Russell Henry, and he comes in and he says, this is done wrong, this is done wrong, put your guns down, you shut your mouth, and let's get this thing fixed. And within a couple of days, he got it fixed because he knew what to do, what to attack, and he was an ornery sucker.
Your name's ornery.
His name fits. And that's Bronco. I asked Bronco, what's going on with the pressures? All right, there's 3 buckets. We got holding the ball too long. We've got some communication, which would be on twists and different blitzes, and there's some technical stuff. All three things are very fixable. If you come to me as an offensive lineman with that, just say, hey, this is all fixable. Not, we're going to bench you, and we're so sick of you not listening, and then everything kind of crumbles and falls apart. No, it's like, oh, no, we got you. Okay, so here's how we're going to communicate moving forward when we get a twist stunt and we get this formation, because that hurt us a couple times. And we're going to make sure that we get the ball. We're going to get rid of it inside the 3 count. We're not going to count those 3. And when you take that kick step, all I want is just a little bit more outside. Make sure you're keeping the power foot on the inside available so you can really pound down if he tries to take an inside route. That's it. Let's go. Fix those things, and let's go to Texas A&M. So I like that approach that he comes with.
Hans and Scotty, what you may have missed coming up next. And then we will hear from Kalani Sitake coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. You'll hear from Kyle Whittingham in the 2 o'clock hour right here on The Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars get set for a home showdown with Stanford this Saturday. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Woo!
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What you may have missed right here on 97.5.
As you've thought about it more, you still feel confident BYU and Utah find their way in. Is AP come out on Tuesdays?
Yeah, normally it will come out today, but because it's Labor Day, it'll come out tomorrow.
Still feel confident, 24, 25-ish?
And they got a game tonight, so that's a big reason. You have that Monday game.
Oh, that's right, TCU.
Yeah, I think Utah will be ahead of BYU.
But both in?
But both in, yes, in both polls.
Because what do you do with Florida State?
Oh, Florida State's going to leapfrog like crazy. They're going to take a massive jump.
So are there 3 slots?
Yeah, they'll make room for 3 slots.
Okay.
Because BYU's already in the AP poll, right?
No, they're in the coaches.
Or it's the coaches poll. Okay,
yes.
Yeah, all right. I knew they were in one.
So they would have to find 3 new slots in the AP for Florida State, Utah, and BYU, and only 2 lost in the top 25.
Yeah, the one's going to get bounced.
Wow. Okay.
Well, Bama's only dropping like I don't know,
1.
3 spots, 2 spots maybe.
Yeah, so
did you see
they're not dropping very far.
By the way, did you see my tweet in the morning before the game?
Yeah, I did. You said you were going to take the 14.
I said somebody's got to talk me out of this, and our good friend Tyler Slade down there is like, bro, don't be taking Florida State. What's wrong with you?
What was the line?
It was Florida State plus 14.5.
I did see the tweet, and because at the end of the game, was just into my call.
Yeah.
I was going through numbers, and I'm like, oh, dang, Scotty would have won that easy. But I didn't realize it was 14.
Yeah. Or it was either 14.5 or 13.5. One of those two.
Plus.
Yeah.
Was that at Tuscaloosa?
It was at Florida State.
Oh, that was in Seminole territory.
Yeah. So, I dropped the ball on that one. Not that I would have done any betting on that.
Did I pronounce that wrong? Lloyd's laughing at me.
Just.
I always worry when Lloyd laughs at me.
I know.
I know.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. North Carolina TCU coming up tonight. If you're a Big 12 fan, you need TCU to win this game.
Man, that's the truth. It would be only the second P4 win of the opening week for the Big 12.
Yes.
Because you can't count Iowa State's win over Kansas State. You can't count that.
Nope. That doesn't help you.
But Utah right now carrying the banner for the Big 12 and carrying it proudly, did it on the road, did it in Big Ten country.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Big Ten country. Now, I will say, if TCU goes to Chapel Hill and puts the hurt on Bill Belichick, they'll get the headlines then.
For sure. Everybody's watching tonight.
Because everybody's paying attention to this one.
Yeah, no Monday night football for the NFL. This is just wide open. I know you're going to be. This is all I've got planned for this evening.
100%.
Popcorn, soda, TCU,
Yeah.
UNC.
Did you hear the awkward moment Jake had with Chip Patterson today?
Oh, what did he call him? Gary Patterson?
No, he didn't. He just made a joke, and because Chip Patterson's based in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it didn't quite hit. You want to hear it real quick?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
How do you think Bill Belichick's girlfriend will do in her coaching debut tonight?
Oh, jeez.
All right.
He goes, all right.
How do you think Bill Belichick's girlfriend will do in her coaching debut tonight?
All right.
He asked that to Chip Patterson? Whatever, Lloyd. You cut that up.
I didn't. I swear, I didn't. It was awkward. It didn't land.
Yeah, that's that's impressive.
Okay. Is that all Chip said?
Like, yeah, how did he follow up with that?
No, that was it.
You're talking
and then and Jake moved on.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, then Jake moved on.
Because Jake knew it was awkward. He's like,
It
okay.
didn't work.
You're talking about Chip Patterson from CBS Sports?
Yes, from CBS Sports.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So that relationship might
you know,
be,
I'm not putting that on Jake. Chip could have done better.
He could have had some fun with
Yeah,
that.
Chip doesn't. His paycheck doesn't show UNC.
How do you think Bill Belichick's girlfriend will do in her coaching debut tonight?
All right.
Oh, this is uncomfortable.
I like it. Now, if it was the play-by-play voice of North Carolina, that would have been maybe a little different.
It was fine. It was fine. It just didn't land. It didn't land with him.
What was the old segment you did? Was it Awkward Radio or what was it?
Awkward Thursday?
Awkward Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. Awkward Thursdays. A lot of awkward things happened.
That was, ain't that the truth? On their and our show.
Actually, across the board.
All right.
I don't hate the question.
It sounds like
It is a story.
Honestly, it sounds like something you and I would say.
Yeah, Chip could just laugh and be like, "Oh, she'll probably mess up something."
Yeah.
Have a little bit of fun with it.
Or he could have just said, "We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that."
I do not appreciate that question. Next question.
All right.
All right. Coming up next, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You'll hear from Kalani Sitake, head coach of BYU next, right here on The Zone.